Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, sir, and good morning, my friends. We are from Group 3, Social Linguistics. It's our language, mainly a tool for communication. Or is it something more? Okay, social dialectology demonstrates that language also reflects the identity, culture, and history of a group of people. Okay, so before uh, our group start our material today. So introduce our group. So it's me, Fidelia Fauzia, as a moderator and the first speaker, and Krista Octavia as the second speaker, and Rizky Wandari as the third speaker, and Nita Anggreni as the last speaker or the fourth speaker. Let's start for the first metric is definition of social dialectology. Social dialectology is a branch of linguistics that studies language variation based on social factors such as social class, gender, ethnicity, age, and geographical location. One example is the glottal stop, a characteristic feature of many varieties of English in Britain, Australia, and New Zealand. In some cases, the glottal stop can be considered a non-standard or WOF feature in English, especially in a formal context. Variation with two theories. Previous linguistics explain language variation using two theories. The first is dialect mixture and second free variation. Dialect mixture refers to the coexistence of two or more dialects in one location, while free variation refers to random use of alternate forms within a particular dialect. And next is structure heterogeneity. William LeBoeuf, an American linguist, argued that language has structure heterogeneity, meaning that language variations is systematic and can be explained by patterns of social differentiation within speech communities. His theory is known as Vergennes theory, the quantitative paradigm, urban dialectology, the LeBoefian school, and secular linguistics.
Okay, my name is Krista Octavia, and I will explain about summary of principle and methods of variationist sociolinguistics. There is three case studies. The first is children in New England from John Fisker, 1958. And the John findings, the use of these forms correlated with factors like gender, social class, personality, and the formality of the speaking situation. Model girls and boys, those who behave well in the eyes of teachers, used ing more often, while boys were more likely to use in informal settings. It emphasizes the importance of studying language in its social context, especially everyday language in informal speech used among members of a community. The basic methods in variationist studies. The first, identify varying linguistic features within in a community. The second, gather data through interviews that capture both informal and formal speech. The third, analyze the frequency of different linguistic features. And the last, correlate these features with social factors like age, gender, or class. And the next is case study 2, Martha's Vineyard. From Lebov, 1963, studied language variation and change on Martha's Vineyard. Lebov studied the pronunciation of the diphthong I, as in price, and found that native Icelanders tend to use the more centralized variant A compared to the I pronunciation common on the mainland. There is the K concept. The first, linguistic variables, features like I whose pronunciation varies. The next is vernacular, the most informal style of speech used by individuals within a community, considered the natural style. And the last is centralization index, a measure created by Labov to track the degree to which different age groups on the island use the centralized A pronunciation. Last case study is sociolinguistic variation in New York City. William Labov, 1966, study of sociolinguistic variation in New York City is a groundbreaking work that revolutionized our understanding of language and its relationship to social structure. It demonstrates that social class differences are reflected in linguistic behavior, particularly in the pronunciation of certain sounds. Next is the department store study. Speech patterns of salespeople would reflect those of their customers. From William findings, the use of post-vocalic R varied significantly across three department stores, with Saks for high status showing the highest use, followed by Macy's for middle status and Claims for low status. And the conclusion, our pronunciation was associated with higher social status, and speakers adjust their speech based on pervasive social context. Next, the larger New York City study. The first, methodology. Extensive interviews with a random sample of adults from different socioeconomic backgrounds. The second is two variable. Higher social classes used more prestigious the, while lower classes use more the and t. And the last, post-vocalic R. Use of post-vocalic R increased with social status and formality. The lower middle class showed hypercorrection using R more frequently in formal context than the upper middle class. And the next is theoretical implications. There is the types of linguistic variables. The first, markers, vary with both social class and speech style, example R and T. The second, indicators, differ by age or social group but not influenced by speech style. And the last is stereotypes, socially marked forms widely recognized, example age dropping. The last is types of prestige. The first is overt prestige, adherence to dominant culture norms valued publicly. And the second, covert prestige, valuing local speech norms that signal solidarity within a community, often found in lower and working class speech. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, saya Rizky Wandari. Saya akan memaparkan 5 metode penelitian lapangan dalam variasi sosiohistoris. Yang pertama adalah pencatatan tidak resmi, yaitu memperoleh data linguistik dengan cara merekam tanpa persetujuan subjek, merupakan pelanggaran etika yang dapat merusak kepercayaan terhadap penelitian. Contoh, Geneva Quotes menyoroti dampak negatif dari merekam percakapan tanpa sepengetahuan teman-temannya. Yang kedua, pengamatan partisipatif, yaitu peneliti bergabung dalam kehidupan sehari-hari kelompok yang diteliti untuk mendapatkan data alami, seringkali tanpa formalitas penelitian yang jelas. Contoh, penelitian di Harlem dan Philadelphia menggunakan rekaman percakapan untuk mempelajari variasi bahasa remaja. Nomor 3, paradoks pengamat, yaitu fenomena di mana orang mengubah cara bicara mereka ketika mereka tahu bahwa mereka sedang diamati, sehingga data bahasa daerah sulit diperoleh. Solusinya, William Labov menggunakan wawancara santai untuk menjaga agar subjek tetap bicara dan gaya alami mereka. Yang keempat, metode-metode Labov yang lain. Pemahaman. Selain wawancara langsung, para peneliti menggunakan survei dan eksperimen untuk mengumpulkan data linguistik dari lebih banyak sumber. Contoh, studi pengucapan bunyi R di toko-toko di New York. Dan yang kelima atau yang terakhir adalah teori variasi bahasa, yaitu bahasa bervariasi tergantung pada faktor sosial seperti kelas, jenis kelamin, dan etnis. Variasi ini mencerminkan hierarki sosial yang ada di masyarakat. Bahasa digunakan secara berbeda tergantung pada konteks sosial dan kelas seseorang. Kelima metode ini menyoroti pentingnya etika dan metode yang tepat dalam mengumpulkan data linguistik, serta bagaimana bahasa yang mencerminkan dinamika sosial. Sekian dari saya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The next material is a closer look at stylistic and social categories. Style and language. According to Labov, style is a continuum based on the level of conscious attention paid to language. The vernacular is the most natural style, while formal styles require conscious effort. Use provides a more detailed framework outlining five distinct styles. The first is intimate style, used in private conversations between close individuals. Relies heavily on shared knowledge and background. The second is casual style, typical of informal speech between peers, often includes ellipses and slang. The third is consultative style, the norm for informal conversation between strangers, less use of ellipses and slang than in casual speech, but still informal markers like about, so are present. The fourth, the fourth is formal style. The term meant by the setting rather than the participants, marked by formal language elements like whom, may I, for the purpose of, and the last is present style, a hyper-formal style designed to discourage personal interaction. Each style reflects different levels of formality and social distance. Labov's one-dimensional view of style has been criticized for its simplicity. Style is influenced by multiple factors, including social context, audience, and individual identity. More on class and language. In Labov's formulation, classes can be delineated by means of a composite socioeconomic index. Labov argued that speech communities are in subconscious agreement about the relative values of different variants of a variable irrespective of their own scores for such variable. Tragill's Norwich study. Tragill found a correlation between social class and the use of grammatical variables. Example of grammatical variables. That is, they involve two or more alternative forms for the same grammatical unit. For example, in Norwich, there are two alternative forms for the third person singular present tense. She sings, works, the standard form, and she sing, work, a local dialect form without the S inflection. Rickford's Can Work study. Rickford highlighted the significance of class divisions within a
Guyanese village, demonstrating how class, rather than ethnicity, shapes social relationship and language use. The social structure mirrors a colonial sugar cane estate with three distinct groups. The first is senior staff, upper class who manage the plantation but live elsewhere. The second is state class, lower middle class, consisting of skilled workers such as foremen, clerks, and traders. The third is the working class, who are engaged in manual work such as cutting sugarcane and weeding. Icard's Detroit study. Icard's study of adolescence in Detroit reveals a class divide between jocks and burnouts, demonstrating how social identity, future aspiration, and linguistic choices intertwine. Not only class, but also gender is a significant factor in language variation. Fisher and Labov's findings. Studies by Fisher and Labov found that women tend to use more standard language variants than men, demonstrating a sensitivity to overt sociolinguistic values. Tragel study in Norwich. Tragel confirmed that women used standard language variants more frequently than men and proposed explanation that sparked debate in gender studies. Icard's view: gender alone cannot explain all linguistic differences between men and women. A combination of gender and other categories like social class provides a more viable explanation. Gender is also fluid category, encompassing varying degrees of masculinity and femininity.
And guys, osmetry in social dialectology is sociolinguistics on trial and application of urban dialectology. The first is the case. Paul principally was accused of making bomb threats at Los Angeles airport. The prosecution claimed the caller's voice was from New York, but principally was also from New York. Okay, next is expert testimony. Sociolinguist William LeBoeuf, known for his expertise in American dialects, was called upon to analyze the recordings. Next is linguistics evidence. LeBoeuf determined that the caller's speech exhibited features of the Boston dialect, not New York. He highlighted distinct vowel pronunciations, especially the merger of vowels in words like cut and calf, which is common in Boston but not New York. And next is instrumental analysis. LeBoeuf and his colleagues used spectrograms to objectively demonstrate subtle differences in the vowel systems of the defendant and the caller. And next is Devon's argument. LeBoeuf argued that it would be extremely difficult for someone from New York to perfectly imitate the Boston dialect, especially the intricacies of the vowel system. An outcome, or the rest, the defendant was equate due to reasonable doubt created by the sociolinguistic evidence. So this is my material, our material about social dialectology for today. So I'm as moderator, and I want to say so sorry, and my friends when I and my partner make a mistake, and I'm so sorry. Our pronunciation and our speaking is not good. So yeah, thanks for today. Thanks the opportunity and thanks for attention. I hope you guys understand our explanation. So wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.